You're listening to Pointing Pointers, the Point to Point podcast. Hello, welcome to Pointing Pointers. I'm Ben Atkins. He's Sam Davies-Thomas, episode 2022. Sam, I've missed you, baby.
Oh, I'm back now. How many episodes have I missed?
One.
Oh, okay.
No, two, because we did one with John Dawson, and then it was the festival. Then Steph was on last week. You've been AWOL.
Sorry.
Where did I say you were last week, Sam? Just to find out if you listened or not.
My memory's been bad, mate.
Yeah, to be fair, even if you had listened, you wouldn't remember, would you? I said you'd be on a 1 month long drinking sabbatical, which I think is about accurate, to be fair.
No, 2 weeks. And last week was just I was skiing. It was fine. I was recovering from Cheltenham.
Good man. So thank you to our sponsors, the PPRA and Red Mills, as always. Sam, we've got plenty of racing to get through, and we've also got special guest Lorcan Williams joining us in about 10 minutes' time. So let's crack on. Garthorpe, I thought it was really nice that Shentry got the job done for Poppy Shaw.
Yeah, definitely on her birthday as well. And after that awful fall at Higham off the same horse, she's got balls of steel, as they say.
Do they? Do they say that?
They do, yeah. Maybe not for females, but for men. But she has, and she put that right behind her, and no, delighted for her, and and to back up where Kelly's horses continue to run well.
To be fair, Sam, we believe in equality on this podcast, don't we? And if men can have balls, then so can women. That's what I say.
That's it. See.
What else happened to Garthorpe?
Dale Peters, took advantage of the smaller fields. There was obviously a void race that we don't want to really cover on too much. But yeah, Dale had a couple of winners, and then Jack obviously had a winner as well. And the maiden, Pillar Rock, who is the quirky Pillar Rock, who's not the easiest. And there's first run for them. So fair play to them, and they keep the ball rolling.
Exactly. So Siddington, George Henderson, which I'm pretty sure is the same George Henderson that I know was at a wedding with in Portugal last summer, randomly pops up with a double. He does this. He doesn't really ride at all, and then he just turns up on a couple of his dad's trained horses, wins a couple, and goes to ground again. But I think he'd be a team chasing sort of chap with Rowan Cope and the like, wouldn't he?
Yeah, no, he's been around for a long time, George. He was riding back when I was riding.
Bad back injury, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, they were up near Leicestershire way before they moved down towards Tetbury now, where they train from home. They had two winners with Bloodstone and then the maiden Pax, which I think could be a good buy. They got it from Ireland at next JP horse. It was rated 112 without winning, so it's obviously had one run at Garthorpe with Dale on board, and George took over today. This is their local track, so they won the hunt race. It'd be good for them they like to kind of demolish the hunt race, and they've done it a couple of times now. So.
And Izzy Hill won with Tell Me Something Good, which excites me every time I read that name, because I think it's going to be Tell Me Something Girl until I get to the end. Like, no way. Oh.
Obviously likes to be springing off the better grounds. Obviously won its last two now. It was a horse that the Mr. Joe Hill told me about at the beginning of the season. And he's obviously yet again right again, which is frustrating, but no, well done to them. And that takes to Izzy's total, I think, 10 now. So she's having another good year.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Victor Thompson, who is a bit of a legend of the game, he's had a double with Shea Houghton riding up at Overton. I got a text message. I was getting ready to go out for dinner on Saturday night, and I got a text message from Nick Luck saying, basically, can you get hold of a replay from Overton? So, as I say, Sam, you're only 7 phone calls away from anything you need, aren't you? So I put the phone call to John Dawson, who pointed me to Paddy Barlow at the same time. No, I didn't. No, I tell a lie. Oh, yeah, no, that's true. Paddy Barlow to someone else in the inbox, bosh. So that was good. The players played out on Nick Luck on Sunday. I don't know if you'd woken up by that point, Sam, but that was good.
Yeah, Captain Hill, the horse he bought off Ben Paulins. Yeah, he did plug on the Northern Facebook page, which was good. And did a video of Captain Hill winning, who Victor told Ben it was the slowest horse he'd ever seen. But luckily he got his head in front for Victor. And his horses seem to be hitting a bit of form. And Shea Houghton, he seems to be riding a good few winners as well. Seems to be getting a lot of rides. He had a couple of thirds up there as well and a second. So, he seems to be getting plenty of rides as well.
So, Sam, it's a bit obtuse, I accept, but I spoke to, in the process of trying to get the number, the video from Keith Simpson, I spoke to Willie Young, who had 2 seconds, I believe, on the day up at Overton, and I suddenly thought we should do a podcast where we only talk about the horses that came second, just to give them their day in the sun, so we don't talk about the winners for a week. We just talk about only the horses that came second. What do you reckon?
To be fair, if we did that, we might talk about something you'd owned.
Don't be silly, mate.
No,
get back on the paddock.
Struggled to get round.
Behave.
And then Lois Teal, Jack Teal continued his good season, didn't he? Up there.
Sure did.
10 winners for the season. His strike rate, I've looked over his strike rate over the last 2 seasons. It's ridiculous. And 6 of the 10 winners he's had this season have been in maidens or bumpers. Jack riding one and his sister Lois riding the other. They make a hell of a team, and they're making great strides up there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I noticed that Lois part owned the horse as well, so it's quite nice.
Yeah, no, good on them. Yeah, and as I say, Jack seems to do a very, very good job with the horses he runs. So he's a bloke to keep on the right side of.
100%, yeah. And at Milbourne, Tennessee Orange, third time lucky for Barbara and King, I noticed. I saw that horse at Brocklesby. That's that. We've had that story before. I won't go over that again. But, the treble for James.
Yeah, it did, yeah. Treble for James, and the first 3 of Chris's 4-timer for the weekend, which takes James King to 21 and 7 behind Josh on 28. So James still got his work cut out to catch Josh, who keeps banging in the winners. So, yeah, and I did notice I think I found the best name for a racehorse ever in the flat race there at Milbourne. It was called More Than a Mule.
Sells on Thoroughbred. It would have sold on Thoroughbred by the time this comes out.
Fantastic. Well, there we go. What a name. If you want to buy a good name for a horse owned by the Ryals, trained by Harry, yeah. So fingers crossed they get a good sale on that. But what a name. What a name.
Get it bought if it didn't sell yesterday. And at Fakenham, it was the King and Queen of East Anglia.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Obviously a training double for Gina, who continue to do really well with the horses. And let me just find it. 2 seconds. This is awful. There you go. Shaytak, that was the horse I was looking for. The restricted won impressively. And they had a good job with the ground. And Gina also provided the second leg of Rupert Stearn's double. No Risk to Floss also won. So that was a training double for Gina. And Rupert Stearn, the first horse he's had with the Ellises. Good friends of theirs. They obviously got this horse out of Ollie Murphy's. Had some decent handicap form, and you've seen what they've done with other horses that have come out of there. So he'll be an exciting horse going forward. And that was the second leg of the double. And the first leg of his double was the Big Lens, who beat the prolific Aramax Big Lens from the same yard. So he probably wasn't Big Lens, probably wasn't very popular that evening. But there we go. And Rupert Stearn, he enjoyed a good double. He was extremely excited, and I had a chat with him earlier today, and this is what he had to say.
I'm delighted to be joined now by a veteran of the weighing room, Rupert Stearn. How are you, Rupert?
Very well, Sam, and you?
Good, thank you very much. You must be delighted to 2 nice winners at Fakenham at the weekend. The horses you've never ridden before.
Yeah. I'm still on cloud 9, really, wallowing in the success of yesterday. 2 winners, which doesn't really happen anymore. So I feel very, very fortunate to have had a couple of winners on the one day, especially at my local course, Fakenham.
Yeah, local course. Yeah, they always do a good job. And, Big Lens obviously was good last season. First run for you. He must be quite an exciting horse, especially beating the yard favourite Aramax as well. He must have been not very pleasant, happy person.
Well, I'm a very happy person. I'm a positive man anyway. But no, it's great to be able to get on him. James offered him to us after he'd run in the summer plate at Market Raisin, I think it was, having won a hurdle in the summer and been placed in a chase or 2, I think. And he offered him to us, and we just thought he'd make a nice point-to-pointer. And we had him here at home for a bit, and then sent him back to James about a month ago. And it was great to have a spin on him around Fakenham yesterday and win the Open.
Oh, brilliant. You ran the Fox Hunters before, obviously you won't be doing that this year, really.
No, not. I certainly won't be on in what he did at the chair. I certainly won't be riding him in that.
I reckon you get him over. You get him over.
I'm not sure. That was quite a bad fall he had, so he's probably done quite well to come back from that, to be honest.
What would he do now?
I think the plan would be to probably keep him low grade. Point to pointing is probably his game now. 12 years old. Like you said, he's running the Fox Hunters to not much success. So he's probably his bag now is probably open point to points on quick ground, hopefully, which is what we're going to get soon, I think, with all this dry.
Looks like it. And another horse, No Risk to Flow, that you purchased recently, looks like, to my knowledge, off Ollie, at the Ollie Murphy yard. He could be an exciting horse and go through the ranks.
Yeah, nice horse that a friend of mine, Tom Ellis, put to me in January, and I had a look at his form and thought, yeah, why not have a crack? But tongue in cheek, I said to Tom, thank you very much, but I can't think of anyone who's going to be able to train it for me. But he suggested himself. So yeah, I thought you may as well. You found it, Tom. You may as well. You Tom and Gina. You may as well train it for us as well. So yeah, it's been great. And yeah, he won it. He won yesterday. In probably not the strongest of races, to be honest, but it was good to get him going.
Yeah, no, it's good to get a bit of experience on him as well. And do you know where he might go next?
And he's had a hard enough life in handicaps for the last year or two, so it's nice to get him in lower grade and go around with his ears pricked and get his head in front. So we'll see. But they made a great job with the ground yesterday, and I must say, Fakenham must tip their cap to them. They got proper irrigation system, which definitely obviously helps. But they did put the work in and get some fantastic ground, which he appreciated. And if it stays dry, probably not what he wants. But if we get some rain, hopefully we better get him out again soon. But we'll see. But it's a nice horse. Lovely horse.
Many horses come out of the bigger yards and get their confidence up. He's obviously got a lot of ability. He just needs a bit of confidence, and he could be one of them.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a perfect race for him yesterday to get to get his head back in front, and yeah, he felt good. So
he might have a few years left in him. Help keep you going a bit, won't it?
The horse might have a few years left in him. I'm not sure about the jockey.
We were talking before we started recording, and I said, "Oh, it looks like to me that you had your first ride in 2005, but you tell me it was 2001. Yeah. Is that right?"
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I was a very, very keen 16-year-old, desperate to get going, and I rode, I think, February 2001, and then had one ride at Higham, and then the whole rest of the season was curtailed due to the foot and mouth epidemic. So that put me in a bit of a bad mood for the next 6 to 8 months. But I was raring to go when the season came round again in 2002. And yeah, I've had great fun point to pointing from then on, really. So, but yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, we've kind of guessed what we're thinking. You were around 130 winners. Is that right, Jochen, in total?
I think so. I'm not entirely sure. It's certainly not as many as some people kicking about, but it's more than others. But I've had great fun, and
good effort.
I've taken a long while to get to 130 or whatever it is, but I've thoroughly enjoyed my time riding, and hopefully still for a bit longer yet. But I am now a veteran, by the way, so I did qualify for a veterans race.
That's got to help, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, so if anyone wants a good veterans jockey.
Do they listen to you? The veteran novice riders, they listen to the veterans, or they just laugh?
I think they're not sure. I think they were just more giggling at me going round, I think. But yeah, now 40 years and over qualifies for the veterans. So, and I think some people think I look a lot older than 40, but there you go. My wife doesn't, so that's the main thing.
That's all right. That's all that counts. Some of the horses that got you to the winners, kind of looking. I was just looking over your stats earlier. Forget the Ref, Falston Ruler, Franks a Million, Just Cause. You won 7 on all of them. They've been some good horses over the time. Yeah,
fantastic, great fun with those, and they were all trained and owned by good friends as well. George Cooper, Robert Avery, Ian Thurtle, people like that. Old stalwarts of point to pointing in East Anglia, and yeah, good friends of ours of the family here in Norfolk and Suffolk, and so it was extra special and fun.
Yeah,
to have a bit of success and do it with those guys a few years ago now, but yeah, it was good fun back in the day.
Yeah, that's one of the questions. My literally next question is: you seem to associate yourself with your friends when you ride. So James, the Turners, and now you've obviously got one with the Ellises as well. That must make it extra special.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing, Sam. I think because we're such good friends with some of those people, they sort of had to feel they had to put me up. So no, they not really, but they made it.
Guilt trip, that is.
A little bit, exactly. Yeah. So they a little bit had no option because they're too good a mates. So, but anyway, luckily, hopefully, I haven't let them down too much. But but anyway, it was good fun. But yeah, it's good.
And obviously, East Anglia being kind of your home ground. Obviously, I've been around a lot of the tracks around there. What's the state of the pointing situation at the minute? East Anglia, some places aren't too good. What are your thoughts on points at the minute?
I think it's still there, definitely to be enjoyed by the minority who are unfortunately still doing it. It's still great fun. They're just in East Anglia. I think a lot of the problem is two problems. Is that, as the old adage goes, there's probably not enough horses, which is quite easy to say up and down the country, I think. But in East Anglia, what I can see is that there's not a lot of young jockeys coming through to try and push the area forward and maybe get a bit of enthusiasm and buzz back in the area. When you sit in the changing room at an East Anglian point to point, I know quite a lot of the local families around here who used to have point to pointers, and they're not there anymore. And I can't see many young lads coming through. I don't know if that means I've got to carry on longer. I don't know, but it's just a bit of disappointing. There aren't the youngsters coming through. We can go on about other problems, whether there's too many meetings for the amount of horses that are actually about. I don't know really, but
that's above our pay grade, Rupert, to be honest.
Yeah, it probably is. But I do think back to the COVID year when we started late and there weren't many meetings because of the COVID situation, and the season I think started end of March.
Yeah,
and there weren't many meetings. And I remember that year there was quite good fields because the meetings had been curtailed. There weren't so many meetings, but I mean, what do you do? I mean, how do you say to a point to point, you're not having a meeting? I mean, it's near on impossible. So, and like you say, it's above our pay grade, perhaps, Sam. So yeah, but
it's interesting what you say about the young riders, because I was somewhere the other day down southwest kind of direction. There seem to be loads, and when I can looking at the results of East Anglia, I can see exactly what you mean.
Was that in the southwest?
Southwest, there seems to be loads of young lads down there, and maybe that's just kind of the area for the population. But yeah, southwest is loads.
It might well be, yeah. And I checked the results from the southwest and stuff like that, and new jockeys keep popping up.
Yeah.
I think there's a lad down there called Rian Corcoran, or his name.
Yeah.
He keeps popping up, and someone told me he's a good jockey to look out for.
Yeah.
But it does seem to be. Whether there's more National Hunt yards down there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Newmarket, that area would be all flat base, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. With more National Hunt yards down there with younger lads who want rides. I don't know, but but it's tricky.
Oh, well, are we riding this weekend?
No, I think it's a weekend off. I think because it's Parham in Kent, which is a bit far for us, about 4 hours from my house.
Don't exert yourself. You don't want to do too much in a month.
No, I don't want to do too much. And I think it's Mothering Sunday on Sunday, so I think we'll be treating Mum for a bit of roast dinner or something like that. So, but yeah, I don't think there's anything on too locally.
Maybe you can concentrate on your Premier Fantasy League, because I see you
maybe
a severe drop off.
Well, yeah, there has been a severe drop off. Yeah, are you above me or below me?
I'm above you. Yeah. I've got you.
You can't be by much, because I thought you were a very slow starter, weren't you? I can't remember.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
I think we're all above Jack Andrews, though, aren't we?
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard. Yeah,
I think he's
even
bottom,
Nick Pearce. Yeah, even Nick Pearce.
Him or Piercy, I think, are bottom of the league, which is incredibly satisfying. Actually, at least I beat Jack Andrews at something.
Yeah, it's sad that Ben Sutton is winning, but Jack Andrews and Nick Pearce, they're down there. So
they're down. At least I can beat Jack at something anyway. So that's really good.
Well done. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for joining us. And good luck for the rest of the season with these two horses. We look really excited.
Not at all, Sam. Thanks ever so much.
Pleasure, mate. Bye-bye.
All the best, mate. Cheers, bye.
Sam, you know I love a conspiracy theory. I thought you were going to get stuck into him a bit then about the betting. We're going to look for some irregular betting patterns now.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say something like that. You just can't help yourself. It's not racing is not fixed, Ben. Okay.
That is a wild accusation, and I never made it. I'm just saying, it always leaves a bad taste in the mouth when the stable second string beats the first one by a long way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Not that it'd be by a long way, but you know what I'm saying.
Look into it.
You missed me singing Wonderwall on last week's podcast. Don't listen back to that.
I didn't miss it.
You didn't miss a lot. So, Ston Easton, 3 for Biddick. In reply, we love to see it.
Things you love to see,
yeah. And switch hitter won again for Olive Nichols, owned of course by Clive Hitchings and Paul, and another winner for Chris Barber, making it 4 from 6 runners this week.
Yeah, good effort that is. So no, good day for him. Good day for him indeed. And just looking, Biddick's on 16 winners, so he's good way behind Josh. He's a bit behind James, but I don't think that's overly important to him at the minute. But no, good to see him have a treble. And 4 out of 6 for Chris Barber's a good training performance as well. Very good indeed. I was interested to see the horse that ran in the bumper yesterday. Actually, was the winner, the 4-5-year-old maiden trained by Joseph Drinkwater that Biddick won on, was actually second behind it. The horse of Barber's that ran in the bumper yesterday. Is that Baker Road?
Yeah.
Actually finished second again. Couldn't get past.
Yeah.
Amber Jackson Fennell, could it?
No, that looks very promising horse, actually. I was going to talk about that later, but we may as well talk about it now. She did say once it won at Larkhill that it would go to Exeter and then potentially Aintree when we spoke to her, and that's exactly what it did. And it won yesterday. Never looked in doubt, to be honest. Altered it.
Oh, lovely. And to ride, train, own, and breed it. That's a good effort, that is. And very well done to Amber. She must be delighted.
Exactly. Right, very quickly then, Kilworthy. Rian Corcoran going strong. We talked at great length about his skills, and El Capitan won as he should, really, 4-1 on. And very nice horse. So Dalton Park, Sam. We've got 2 voice notes from this. First, I spoke to a chap with his first winner who we've spoken to before, and here's what he had to say. So I'm now joined by David Bingham, who you'll remember we had on the podcast a good few months ago now. And David, I'm delighted to say that you've had your first winner with Desert Fortune yesterday at Dalton Park.
Indeed, yeah. Not very, very happy to get that. We've worked long and hard for it, and Henry Crowe gave her a great ride, and we got our first win. Very happy.
Brilliant. So we were just chatting. You'd gone to a hunter chase more to get the fresh out of it, and then came third, but eventually due to a disqualification. And I believe there's a couple of nice stories around that particular occasion.
It was a lovely day. Beautiful ground, and we were going into the parade ring, and my eldest daughter was with me, and she's not the most confident around horses. And as we're going into the ring, some guy runs past with a horse, and he just says, "Can you hold it for me?" And she's terrified, but she does that. And anyway, we go on to do the race. So it turns out that horse is what won the race. And I said, well, why didn't she help us out by letting it go in the car park, She also lost her sunglasses, and we found them, or they were handed in there, and they've been sent back to us. So what a beautiful place it was to go to, and what wonderful people who restore your faith in human nature.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's often the way at many point-to-point courses, things that don't happen in the real world tend to happen there, and there is still some good folks around. So no, lovely to hear that both those stories. And must be real nice to get the first winner on the board and sort of monkey off the back, so to speak.
Oh, absolutely, because it becomes an issue, doesn't it, when you haven't got that win, and so you start to get a little bit nervous about everything. And yesterday was great. We had a plan. We wanted a long course, and I think it's probably fairly well over 3 miles, judging by the times that have come out of there. So that sort of suited what we needed. And she hasn't got a great deal of speed really, so we decided that she should go from the front as early on as possible. So she actually did jump off, and she made it all. And we won by a head in the end. So it's a bit nerve-wracking the last few seconds.
I bet, yeah. It's quite a long finish at Dalton Park, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And we've got a few friends there. And one of my daughter's boyfriend was there. He came running up to me, congratulating me. I said, well, wait a minute, let's just hear it officially.
Yeah.
He said, no, I was on the line and I've got a photograph to prove it. He's definitely on. Well, let's just wait for the official announcement. So yeah, it was very, very nice to get.
Yeah.
So everyone worked so hard for it.
I really enjoyed interviewing you last time, and I kind of came away like really excited that you're going to be trying some different training methods, really. And but at the time I was tempering my enthusiasm and thinking, well, we need this to also bring some results. And so yeah, I'm personally delighted that you've got one on the board, and I'm hoping that then turns the tap on and opens the floodgates for many more winners, albeit with a select string, David.
Well, it would be nice, wouldn't it? I mean, you need the bullets to fire, don't you? But everyone's working hard, and we're learning all the time and meeting great people. And what I've loved about it is everyone's so willing to share what they think and how they do stuff. And
absolutely,
it's such a wonderful environment to come into, quite new for me. And although it is obviously incredibly competitive, I've had some wonderful messages. I feel like I've won the Gold Cup. I mean, just one blooming race in the middle of Europe.
They're hard to win, though. They are hard to win.
They are. They are. Oh no, I can't believe how hard it is to win the race. I mean, it's unbelievably hard. But some very, very kind messages from some very special people. So I've been really thankful for that, and it's been great fun, even over the last 3 or 4 hours.
Well done, David. Yeah, we're delighted for you, and long may it continue.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. It's been cool. See you soon.
Interesting about what you had to say about the people up at Darton Park. Every time I've been up north, I always find that the people are extremely pleasant.
Good stuff. And I believe, Sam, that you spoke to Will Easterby.
I did, yeah. Nice chat with Will, who also mentioned about the people up north. And it's our conversation here now.
I'm joined now by William Easterby, who enjoyed a training double at Dalton Park with Morozov Cocktail, ridden by his younger brother Tom, and then Largy Shark, ridden by himself. Will, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you, Sam?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you very much. Now the weather's coming out, but it is affecting the ground slightly, quickening it up a bit, isn't it? But you must have been delighted with those 2 horses at the weekend. Can you tell us a bit more about those?
Yeah, we had a great weekend. First off, we had Morozov Cocktail won with Thomas on. That was really good. He's actually a horse I bought as a foal, and Dad had him training, and he won a couple of chases, and then he lost his way, and so we've got him point to pointing now, and he's had a good year really. He won at Alnwick for me, then Thomas had a go on him at Duncan Park, and he was 3rd, and then I rode him at Charm, where I thought he'd nearly win, and I was clerking the course that day, and I got cut up badly on a bend, and then only got beaten a length, and so we thought going to this weekend with it being a stiff track that it would suit him, and he was off the bridle a long way, and Thomas had to really get stuck into him, but he got him up late on, and he sort of stayed on well, so that was good.
Good, brilliant. And Tom, obviously, how many seasons has he been riding now?
Yeah, so I think it's his 3rd season riding, actually. Yeah, so he's getting on really well. Like, he's starting to get a few decent outside rides. He rides Somerville Boy for Charles Clark, which is a good outside ride, and he's had a couple of winners on him, which is good. And I see he's entered again this weekend, so that should be good. Hopefully for Thomas, if he keeps the ride, which hopefully he will.
No, I'm getting a leg up on Somerville Boy wouldn't have been bad in your first few seasons, would it?
No, exactly. Yeah, getting something like that's ideal, isn't it?
Yeah, no. And then Largy Shark?
Yeah, Largy Shark. He's a nice horse. We bought him out of Crawford's last year. Well, actually, Dad and Thomas bought him the May sale last year. I was laid up with a broken collarbone and after having a fall at Market Raisin, so I missed the sales. But they found him, and he was a bit disappointing first couple of runs for us. But I don't know, Emily does all the work with the pointers at home, my sister, and she's got him right or dropping back in trip, a combination of the two. I'd say he's probably put him right anyway, and he jumped fantastic, and we actually had the 2nd in that race as well, Thomas Road. So yeah, we were pretty happy. Yeah, and that was Thomas Road. That was his first run over fences. He's actually won on the flat, so that was a bit of an unusual route to take with on.
Yeah, well, at least you didn't let your younger brother get the better of you anyway.
No, exactly.
keep his feet on the ground.
Yeah.
You said about Emily, your sister, did a lot of work with the pointers. Can you tell us a bit more about your setup you've got at home?
Yeah, so we're very lucky. Like, obviously, family have trained racehorses for a long time. My granddad was a trainer, and then Dad trains on the trains, and we've got about 150 flat horses and maybe about a dozen jumpers, and then we have a separate yard down where Mum and Dad live, using the same gallops and everything that Emily's mainly in charge of. Down there riding them out. So there's Emily, and Mum used to ride them out quite a lot. She actually ruptured her ACL skiing this year, so she hasn't been as involved. So yeah, it's good. I actually day to day I don't get to sit on the pointers. I only get to sit on them at the races really.
You've got to go and ride the flat horses, have you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, riding 2-year-olds and all that kind of carry on. So yeah, that's the sort of main job comes first.
And how many pointers have you got in?
Did we start with about 10, I think, and we started with 10, and then a couple of young ones and a couple of all sorts. Of a few have already found their way to the field. You know what it's like.
Yeah, definitely. And then so you've got a couple of entries at the weekend. Any horses anyone should look out for this weekend?
Yeah, I'd maybe look out for the one I rode this weekend that runs again next weekend as he jumped the fence in front of the paddock, whipped round after one stride, buried me, and then galloped back to the paddock loose. So I'd probably say watch out for him if you stood anywhere nearby.
Oh, we'll keep out of the way then.
Yeah, and the other two, the horse Benefact, he's a maiden. He's been a maiden for a couple of seasons now. He doesn't fully. He's a good ride, and it doesn't really fully apply himself. So he's not. I don't know. We always want to see he might run well, but nothing's crying out as looking like being a winner. I don't know.
Okay, and any other horses that look to be quite exciting at home that you know of, or Emily's told you anyway?
Yeah, like the horses that ran at the weekend. That's sort of we ran most of them this weekend, just gone. I mean, Morozov Cocktail will go for the Grimthorpe Gold Cup next. It's a race that means a lot to people in Yorkshire. Like it's I don't know how long it's been going, 70 some years, I think.
Yeah.
Like I won it 3 years in a row when Mum was training the pointers on a horse called Monsieur Jordan. He was the first 3 years running, which was some going. He was a good old horse. And then and Largy Shark, we'll probably try and find a 2.5 mile hunter chase for him with a view of maybe trying to qualify for entry next year. So yeah, it's quite exciting. We've got some nice horses and got some good, like a good team. Emily does a good job with them at home, and yeah, we're very lucky really.
Good. And I was looking at some of the results in the northern area, and it looks to be quite thriving at the minute. There's lots of runners and some good racing. Is that right?
Yeah, it's some really good days out. There's been some good racing. There's a lot of people there at the weekend at Holderness, and there's some really good people. I think that one of the big things that with pointing that people like you talk about horses and you talk about things like that, and I think one of the big things is the people. And we're very lucky in Yorkshire. There's some great people who are involved. I mean, so Charles Clark won his hunt race on Sunday, and he's like clerk of the course at Holderness. So that was fantastic for them. And it's good to see people like that who put the work in, getting their awards. And then there's some really good owners, good supporters every week. We're very lucky in our area, and then in the northern area the same. I think there's some really good people who love the pointing, and without those volunteers and people who put in the hard yards, it's not going to happen, is it?
No, definitely not. And I've been up there a couple of times. And and there's actually David Bingham, who we just had on the podcast as well, just before you. He actually was really complimentary about the people at Dalton Park. He had his first winner up there, and he said how nice the people were up there as well, and how welcoming they were to everyone. So it's important, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And like I say, it's something that going forward, it's like hunting is having its troubles, always has its troubles, and pointing has its struggles as well. And like going forward, it's definitely something where everyone's going to have to try and maybe work together more. And pointing as a sport, we've got to all do our bit really and keep putting in and try not to be negative about things. Everybody works very hard to keep the sport going.
That's so true. And you listen to what's been said about under rules racing at the minute about the syndicates and owners, and that it's hard for under rules racing. Look at their prize money and stuff. Look, and then coming back to pointing and how hard that should be. So we do a good job to keep it going, I think. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, there's some good people out there. I mean, you can't name all of them, obviously, but like this, if they listen to this or whatever, then thank you very much to everyone who does put in those hours and those miles and everything that's involved in putting racing on.
Well, hundreds of people listen to this, Will.
I sort of said your thousands of listeners around the world.
Yeah, that's it. Worldwide. Remember that. Perfect. Thanks very much for joining us. Well done at the weekend, and keep it up.
No, great. Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you. Bye.
Fantastic. Right. Time for our special guest. I'm going to admit him and see if it works. So, Sam, as I know, you listened to the podcast in full last week, and we chatted a bit about Lorcan and Jeremy, and you'll have no doubt listened to know that we found a race. In fact, Ed Bailey found a race for me 8 years ago at Ston Easton, in which Lorcan beat James Bowen in a 4-runner race. Lorcan, you might not be able to remember that race specifically, but I just wondered if you could tell us how it all started for you in pointing.
I actually do remember it. It was this time last year, I think, was it? And I think I actually wrote a double on Monshire Gibraltar and one for the ARC, for Sally Alder called the ARC. So it was actually a good day, that was. But yeah, no, I done my first season pointing. Didn't particularly enjoy. Didn't have any sort of any success. Was wondering what people do it for, to be fair. But I got my first winner then at Lark Hill for Sally and Robert Olner, who got me going, and they were a massive part in my career, getting the ball rolling. I think I rode 20 winners that season, so I was very fortunate to land on their laps, and also was lucky enough to ride for Rose and Sam Loxton. So I was fairly fortunate in the pointing scene to fall onto those people's laps, really.
Fantastic. And do you think it kind of gave you a good grounding in the sport, or do you look back with kind of fond memories of that time and think it helped you along your way? Or
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think I done 3 seasons point to point, and it was a massive help through my career, through so many key things. Like I said, Sally and Robert Olner were massive, who had massive experience for sort of grounding me in the right way. They always left me to my own devices, which I think sort of makes me the rider I am today, really.
I was listening to a interview from the late Michael O'Sullivan, what he said about pointing over in Ireland and how he found it was actually harder to ride in points than it is to ride under rules. Can you resemble that?
Probably, yeah. On certain aspects, I suppose I was very spoiled in some way. Well, I was very spoiled, in all fairness. I rode some very high class horses. But yeah, when you're riding those maiden pointers who have first time on the track, and you're having to go 3 miles, jump however many obstacles it is, and you've also got that sphere where everybody wants to have those pointers who win first time out to then obviously be going on and sold. So I mean, for inexperienced horses, I suppose in some ways it is a little bit harder, and as well, it can be a little bit more tactical. There's not many places to hide on the point field, as you know, Sam, and with the likes of the older lads like yourself, Will Biddick and Fly, Bradley Gibbs, Nicky Williams. I mean, they put a few manners on me on the track anyhow.
Yeah, I tried to stay away from your side of the water, to be honest, in Wales, mate, to be honest, because we weren't really welcome very much over there.
Yeah, to be fair, look, I never used to like going over to the Welsh area either. They used to put manners on me, but I'm sure they made you a bit more welcome, did they not?
Yeah, well, it's funny really, because even though obviously originated from the area, I was sort of the new kid on the block, so there was no sort of up your inner, or there was no leeway. It was all very tight. And John Mathias, I can remember when I was 16 at Howick, and he ran me down every obstacle up the home straight and beat me by half a length. So I mean, yeah, we got pretty streetwise pretty quick. So I wouldn't, I'd say it was a good experience anyhow.
Yeah, it doesn't do any harm, does it?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. It makes you a lot tighter, makes you a lot more aware, and yeah, I mean, I think it made me realise that now reading a race became more quicker, just because of sort of like those sort of events happening. It almost made you aware and made you to make those split decisions a little bit quicker, possibly. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, and it can't be any coincidence that some of the top lads riding now are from the Welsh pointing circuit. You know, Jack Tudor, Ben Jones, Sean James, Bracey, yourself. Do you know what I mean? That can't be a coincidence.
No, definitely. Look, we were all very lucky and had some great support. But yeah, I mean, out on the field, it was it gave us a lot of help.
Yeah, going away from pointing, kind of the reason we got you on was obviously unless anyone's been asleep for the last 2 weeks, they'll all know that you won the Champion Hurdle Golden Ace. That must have been a whirlwind of emotion through the race. Could you just kind of explain, your emotions going through this to your tracking constitution? It would kind of come down.
Yeah, I mean, going out there, really. I was just, I actually was really looking forward to it, in all fairness. I had a great day. I had two of my mates from school travelled up with me. I kind of got up early in the morning, went for a run, then travelled up with the two lads, got there, walked the course, got a bit of physio, done the bike, you'd done the usual, really. And I was just looking forward to it. Walking the course, I sort of had a plan in my head. I wanted to be by the most fancied horses, which I felt was State Man and Constitution Hill, obviously. And yeah, I mean, very happy. I always go for a little bit on light on her, because her jumping at times can just be a little bit iffy, and whenever I've got cover, it sort of always hasn't gone quite right. She just likes a little bit of room, so I always tend to do that on her. And then obviously Constitution Hill came up too far and basically landed on the hurdle, and nothing still really went through my head. I was aware that my momentum had stopped quite a bit, and I was still amazed how we were on the tail of State Man, and then we were coming down the hill. I was sort of coasting away, and halfway around the bottom bend, I was gaining on Brighter Days Ahead, and I thought, geez, she's running a cracker. We're going to run into second here. And the question I've been asked the most is, do you think, or would you have, or what do you think? And in all honesty, about catching State Man, it never went through my head, because I was sort of had the target on Brighter Days Ahead, turning in for home, and I got upsides here. And I guess by the time I could have thought about it, the unexpected sort of happened, and unfortunately State Man come down and left us in front. Felt like the world had stopped for a moment. And yeah, I didn't think it was over at any point for myself, just because when I was left in front, and all you're thinking is, I hope I don't get caught, So yeah, good, fantastic feeling though. But delighted for for Ian Gosden and Jeremy Scott team.
Yeah, no, brilliant. And the emotion, the look on your face when you crossed the line, I can just imagine it just probably all went silent, didn't it? And it was just
Yeah, it was, there was nothing but disbelief, really. This is what dreams are made of. I mean, it's the pinnacle of jumps racing, Cheltenham Festival. Having a winner there is amazing, but to have won one of the races that the big uns is amazing.
Yeah, massive. And if you were feeling shocked, there was probably another 50,000 people that I was there as well. I couldn't believe what I'd just seen, to be honest. It was ridiculous what I just watched. But no, brilliant result, brilliant for the whole team at home. And then you've obviously had a win at the festival before.
Yeah,
the Fox Hunters. That was during COVID. That wasn't it?
Yeah, that was, yeah. But it was, I'm the only professional to ever win the Fox Hunters. So I mean, I've said this line before, but I always felt I'd be a part of a pub quiz. So that's one, and maybe the champion hurdle is another.
No, brilliant. Obviously, the difference, a crowd being a massive difference for winning those races, I imagine. And obviously the fact you probably thought you were going to win the Foxes when you went out there, whereas you're probably quite relaxed last week. Quietly confident on old Paul up there, in all fairness. But it was nice riding from my mate Will Biddick, obviously, and it was quite relaxed for me anyhow. I think Will was actually a bit more tense than I was, to be honest. But he was a great horse, and I was very lucky to be associated with him. And he was a great spin. He always travelled nicely. He always went off your leg and left the jump into him in sort of aspects. But that was a fantastic day. But like you said, to do it with the crowds there, it does boost your ego, I guess. So no, fantastic. Brilliant. And then we go back to Biddick. Obviously, you come up and rode a bit for Biddick when you were younger. Another lad I've noticed a bit, Ryan Corcoran. We spoke about him endlessly on this podcast, to be honest. He looks like he's really going places. He's streaking away with the novice riders title. You obviously know him a bit, would you?
I've actually seen him in Pipies. Yeah, seems a nice lad. So it seems to be getting on well, I suppose. His father was dropping him off, I think, in all fairness. But yeah, no, he's a lovely lad. Seems like a good rider, and could be going down the right route of obviously winning the novice title like they do. And I suppose the next step for him, because he's quite light, is probably turning conditioner.
Yeah, definitely. And any others? Obviously, you're riding out at different places. You spotted any other young kind of talents coming through at all?
I suppose an obvious one is Ed Vaughan, who looks to be sort of staying in the point-to-point route, and looks to
forget about him being a young, inexperienced, not only ridden for a seasoned lad now. To be honest.
Yeah, no, it's mad, really. But he seems to be someone who could sort of take the point-to-point scene by storm. You know, like all the lads that I was sort of riding with are probably getting a bit to the end of their career in the point-to-point fields, and maybe he's someone that the traders who are looking to win those 4-year-old maidens first time out is somebody they could go to now, really.
Yeah, I was speaking to Charlie Post about him, and his kind of when he gets off a horse, he's just as good as when he gets off the horse with his feedback of what he is when he's on the horse. So that's always a good sign, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think it's in my experience, it's sort of 70% of it, really. They need the feedback. They need to know where to go, what ground, did he make a noise, or anything like that. That's probably the not in a whatever way, but that's probably where I lacked in that department early on in my stage. And I wouldn't say I'm the best now, anyhow. But yeah, I mean, it's a massive help when you can do that.
Yeah, 100%. Favourite track when you were pointing? Probably would that have been down somewhere?
Larkhill was my favourite, actually. Yeah, it was my favourite to ride. Yeah, in all fairness.
You rode good horses, and that's where good horses run.
Exactly. Yeah, big galloping track. I did enjoy riding there because I think it was more the aspect, like you said. I rode some brilliant horses around there. I was very, very lucky. There was one track I actually rode around. I only had one ride and one winner, and it was for Mr. Dando, Charlie Dando's father, and it was around Woodford. I thought that was a lovely track to ride around, in all fairness.
Yeah, that's a big galloping track as well.
Yeah, that's probably suits my style of riding more than most of the tight tracks, you know.
Yeah, see, I was a bit gung ho and a bit farmerish. I used to like Cotland. You see, just resting around the bends, whereas you like the good horses go to Larkhill.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously, you rode with the lads back in the day that you're kind of still riding with now. Any stories that you can remember from when you were riding at all?
Probably not. Probably I rode at Larkhill for Richard Willicott, and the horse was called Humpback Bridge, and I can remember riding him, and his form was first fell, and he was quite a keen going horse, big horse, very numb in the mouth. And I can remember countering down the start, not much thought going through my head, and all of a sudden I couldn't stop on him, and I can remember jumping the show fence 2 out on him, and I got off in the race. Everything was going great, looked like we were the winner. Come down to 2 out, and unfortunately he come down. So the fence that we had jumped before anything had happened is the fence that he come down on. But I can always remember that.
Yeah, what's the chance? They didn't fancy jumping it well twice.
No, he definitely didn't. Anyhow, he lay out the back of it for 20 minutes. Anyhow.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We'll let you go and get into the gym. So you've been waiting.
Yeah.
You'll be getting bored in the cafe, I'm sure, and you don't want to get on the machine. So yeah, thanks for joining us. Well done. Well, it's 10 days ago now, wasn't it? Yeah, 10 days.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, well done there, and thanks for coming on.
No problem. Cheers, Sam.
Come on, cheers.
All the best. Bye bye.
So Sam, back to the schedule. Social shout out. We've been keeping up with these, and I just wanted to say the Morpeth Point to Point is doing a great job on socials. Talking about their going, talking about what's going on course. They've been at it for quite some time, and I think it's quite important to give these meetings quite a big long lead in when you're doing marketing for these things. Pretty simple. The longer you're on sale and the more you're in the people's grills, the more tickets you tend to sell, Sam. So fair play to them. Have you noticed that online?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, no, and there's a few courses that do really well, and some you kind of never see at all. So hopefully a few of the courses can take a leaf out of their book, because it can only help in this day and age, Benjamin, can't it?
Absolutely. So I'm joined now by Dom Antonio from the Pointing Syndicates Co. Dom, we've had the pleasure of talking to you before and giving the great work that you're doing a big plug. And it's fair to say that you're going from strength to strength. It would be a massive own goal if we didn't have you on this week, because we have got upcoming the second leg of the Nick Luck Daily Pointing Pointers podcast, Hunter Chase Double. You've already won the first at Ludlow. At Catterick, and you're bidding to take the £5,000 bonus by winning again at Kempton on Monday.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Tommy's been such a star for us. So when I set up the Pointing Syndicate company, I did say to Fred, right, we need to find a flagship horse, and he'd done amazingly well to find Tommy. I don't think we thought at the time that he was going to be running 100 chases, in all honesty. The aim really was to go point to pointing, but it's quite ironic actually that we've taken him point to pointing a couple of times, and he seems to actually hate it. But when we've gone to 100 chases, he seems to light up, and he's just come into his own. It's been an absolutely fantastic journey, to be honest.
Yeah, incredible that. And I was looking at the form and things, and thinking the same myself. I was trying to kind of weigh it up. I was thinking, like, what is it? Is it? Does he like the smell of the candy floss machine in the or what? I don't know. What is it? It's crazy, isn't it?
I know it is really quite bizarre. He does seem to get a bit revved up at point to points. Right. I don't know if he's a bit of a gentleman. And he likes things a lot his own way. So he obviously getting tacked up in a van probably doesn't help. It's a bit of a roughing up sort of situation, really, isn't it? But
maybe he's allergic to young farmers.
Yeah, it could be something like that. I think it also could be the ground, because like when we first ran him last year, obviously we had all that torrential rain and really bad weather, so he did tend to be running on quite soft, heavy ground, which obviously hasn't been suitable for him. I remember actually when we first ran him at Anik, we did pinpoint a race specifically that we thought he'd be able to win, and we took him down there, and he really disappointed, so we were really frustrated. I remember, like, me and Fred were just like silent because we were so gutted. So the next morning, actually, I rang up Fred and said, you know what, I think we should chuck him into this Ludlow Hunter Chase, which was about 10 days away. And as they say, the rest is history, because he went and won that Ludlow Hunter Chase. And then he did win a second time at Ludlow, winning their Gold Cup. And in all fairness, he did run in the Aintree Fox Hunters quite well, actually, considering we walked the course and it was like standing water. It was quite heavy, but he did run actually well. I think he finished like 8th or 9th. He unfortunately he ran at Cheltenham in that heavy ground, and that sort of ended his season last year. Because when we look back, actually, we didn't realise that when he was with Ian Williams, he ran all through the summer. So I think it was from the April of the year before up until the 1st of May, we worked out that it actually run 17 times. Which is actually unbelievable, really.
Yeah, it is. So what we're getting to really is he's obviously a sound horse with a great constitution, but you've probably weighed it up. He's probably not allergic to young farmers. He probably just wants good ground, doesn't he? Which presumably you're going to get at Kempton on Monday.
Oh yeah, hopefully. Well, this is what we said last year. We said he's run really well, but we haven't seen the best of him yet because he hasn't had his ground. Yeah. So we did run him in a pipe opener at Chadsley just at Christmas time, and he really didn't turn up. No. So we thought something must be wrong. So we did get him scoped, and he did scope dirty. So the most of January and partly of February has been on antibiotics.
Right.
We did have some other races planned, but when Catterick come about, it was nothing planned really, and we never actually even considered the Nick Luck bonus or anything like that. It was just the course that was going to suit him because it was flat. Yeah, and also the ground was good, and now he's won that so convincingly. Really,
and followed it up.
we come up into a difficult situation of do we go for Aintree, which is our plan, or do we try to go for this £5,000 bonus? And it's not an easy decision to make, really.
No. But all things told, I mean, like before, obviously you've seen the entries like I have, and it's looking like quite a tricky race all round, really. But it's you'd think on the face of it, it ought to be less competitive than Aintree, where you've come sort of out of the frame before. So I can totally see why you've made the decision. It comes a little bit sooner, but he clearly takes his racing well, and I can 100% see why you're going for it. So yeah, look, best of luck on Monday. We'll all be rooting for you, I'm sure, other than Nick. But all jokes aside, we've mentioned it before. This is a fantastic way to be involved in a point-to-pointer / hunter's chase, I must say. And how can people get involved? It's brilliant value. Tell us all about it.
Oh yeah, it's great, and especially with Tommy doing so well at the moment, we do have a racing club members WhatsApp group, and for the last few days it's just been ping, ping, ping. Everybody's like really, really up for it.
Of course they are.
So there's two ways that people can get involved, really. Well, we have our racing club, which is we have Captain Tommy, obviously, and also we have For One Night Only. So with Captain Tommy, you can get involved and just pay like $9.99 a month, which is a great value.
Unbelievable.
So that's like a standard membership, or we do have like a VIP membership, which is £250 a month. So the only difference really is if you become a VIP, you're guaranteed all the race day involvement and all the extra perks. A big thing that I try to do is encourage people to come down to the yard, the gallops, and we put on loads of really good hospitality as well, as that is my background, to be honest.
Is it? Now that's interesting. That is really interesting, and another conversation we'll no doubt have in due course. But I have seen the photos from your picnics, and it's mouth-watering stuff. So yeah, I can vouch for that. So look, well done. Keep up the good work, as they say, and genuinely, we wish you all the best for Monday.
Oh, yeah. Well, the champagnes are nice, believe me. We're really looking forward to it. Can't wait.
Good on you, Dom. Nice to catch up.
Okay, speak soon. Cheers.
So, Sam, I think that's been a bit of a whistle-stop tour. As always, we've talked to plenty of people. Do you have any other business, my friend?
None for me. Just, try and get out some good meetings over the weekend. Just try and get out and... Obviously, Saturday is Parham, Tramwell, as you said, and Larkhill. And then Sunday, Ask and Brian, Cotley, and Maysmore and Treby-Dannon. So, I might take a trip down to Maysmore, not far from me. So if you see me in my pointers jumper, please come and say hello.
I may well be going up to Tramwell, Sam. So, I was just getting that nice little social shout out. So I'm cast aloft like a champion. On arrival, just make sure that I'm the good guy, No one likes to have a target on their back, do they, Sam?
No.
You'd know. Lots of love, buddy. That's the end. I'll see you for... Can you believe it's episode 23 next week?
I can. It feels like it's episode 53.
I've missed you. Listen, I've missed you. It's good to have you back.
You're listening to Pointing Pointers, the Point to Point podcast.